Hello. Now, before we begin, I'd like all of you to very quickly close your eyes and think for a quick moment about a person who you know in your life who you feel like you've looked up to and you feel that you feel represented by in media and television. So go ahead. Okay, open your eyes. Now, I'd like to hear from some of you in the audience. Who is someone who you feel like you've been represented by? And what similarities do you think that you and this person share? It can be your shared gender or race, or it can be anything from a common interest to a hobby. Would anybody like to share? Yes?
I think I'm represented by Gina Rodriguez because she's Latina and feminist.
Perfect, thank you. Anybody else? And it doesn't have to be anything that I've listed so far. It can be any kind of similarity that both of you hold. Oh, yes.
J.K. Rowling, she's a writer, and she's middle-aged.
Thank you. Now, I'd like for all of you to think very quickly, what kind of world would you be in right now if that person did not exist? What kind of life would you be living right now? Would you have gone to a different college, university, or would you have not attended school after high school? Would you be in a different profession right now? What kind of life would you be living if this person was not in your life? Now, putting all of these questions aside, I'd like for all of us to very quickly think about television and media and how representation can have a very important impact on all of our lives, and more specifically, on the queer community. Now, I'm not saying that I suffered growing up because I did not see more gay characters on television, but what I would like all of you to think about right now is just for very briefly consult the importance of representation in the media. Now, since the dawn of modern society, humans have developed mindsets that have lasted for thousands of years. With these mindsets, there has been a common pattern among them. This pattern being a resistance to change. While all of us may consider ourselves to be acceptable to change and more adaptable to change, we still have a trait built into our mind that makes us resist this kind of change. For me, it could be moving to a different home, losing one of my pets, or getting a new pair of shoes. For some of you, it might be marrying your partner, moving out of state, or going to a different school than you thought you were going to. And some obviously might find it easier than others to be adaptable to this kind of change. But the list can go on forever. A particular change that has become a key component in this modern era is LGBTQ+ representation in media. Now, members of this community have received very little representation in history. As culture has developed in human civilizations over thousands of years, heterosexuality has become the norm due to human drive to reproduce between a male and a female. Yet a mysterious part of sexuality that hasn't been explored is homosexuality, in the ability to transition and identify with a different gender. But due to our reproductive drive, this realm of sexuality and gender has almost never been given focus. This is because of our human intuition has developed over time in Western culture to consider normal relationships to be between a man and a woman. This ideal has become popularized all over the world, and it has become the mainstream of modern culture and society. Acceptance and norms stay with the mainstream and resist change within the culture of realm and of gender and sexuality. From these norms, some religions and ideologies have learned to hate the LGBTQ+ community because of our differences in terms of sexuality and gender. And oftentimes, uneducated people have used their strength in numbers to suppress our community. Now, despite these setbacks, we have realized a new surge of representation in the 20th century alone. Through movements like the Civil Rights Movement led by Dr. King and American minorities, as well as the Stonewall riots led by African American transgender women and gay men and women, we have realized that through their fighting has come a new realm of a new genre of television and media that has been dedicated towards the representation of LGBTQ plus people. We see how celebrities like Ellen DeGeneres, George Takei, Lily Singh, Laverne Cox, Ricky Martin, Sam Smith, and so many others have opened to the public regarding their gender and sexuality identification. And through this opening, as I have said, has created a new realm of genre in film and television that is dedicated towards this community. And it is able to showcase the realities and struggles of our community through television, and oftentimes through drama, comedy, and humor, and with other realms of television. A great example in television, in my opinion, would be RuPaul's Drag Race, which is a television show / competition show that is dedicated towards the elevation of androgyny and drag, and has provided a safe space for queer men to express themselves freely. Another example would be TV shows like Pose and The L Word, which have showcased the struggles and stories, as well as the tales, of fictional transgender and gay women. I often find myself looking up to a numerous people within the LGBTQ plus community who have used their stories and they have provided a safe space for everyone in this community, not just here in the United States, but around the world, to share and hopefully bring light to several struggles that we face today. I find that I look up to celebrities like RuPaul Charles, Billy Porter, and Trixie Mattel, who have shown me that it is okay to be gay in a hateful world, and that it is important to spread love through your art or your passion or whatever you decide to pursue in your life. I also find that I look up to people, and along with actors and comedians like Kate McKinnon, Joel Kim Booster, and Wanda Sykes, who have shown me that if you oftentimes find trouble expressing yourself, you can always use humor to convey your messages or to convey your different emotions to people, and that you don't have to use humor to hide who you are or what your emotions truly are. And with this surge of representation, a spotlight has been shown onto the queer community. Unfortunately, this has also led to several unforeseen consequences. As media conglomerates and television companies have realized how public opinion towards the queer community has become more positive over time, they've taken the opportunity to capitalize off of our representation. Now, while this may not seem to be a bad thing, as any sort of representation of a marginalized group is almost always welcome, there tends to be an absent-minded aspect as to how queer characters are portrayed on television due to a lack of diversity in staff. According to the UCLA Hollywood Diversity Report, which was completed in 2018, 91.9% of men make up the majority of writing staff on major films and television shows. And 86.2% of writing staff are white. Now, in case if some of you weren't already aware of this, these statistics are very alarming. Just because this shows that a lack of diversity can lead to different ideas of how queer characters should be portrayed. We can see how women here only make up 13.8% just in 2016, which shows that oftentimes men, and particularly white men, often rely on historical stereotypes which are oftentimes outdated in order to develop characters. In entertainment, stereotypes are a frequent first step in character development. And with this little outside knowledge, writers and producers often have times trouble defining characters with minority statuses. Now take this example from two scenes from two separate TV shows, The Real O'Neills and Difficult People, in which gay men, and particularly gay men stereotypes, are used in media.
As playful descriptors, but on TV, it's all they can think about.
Well, at the time, I don't know. I need advisors, like a gay presidential cabinet.
Well, I'll be sure. So let's walk you through this. I'm a bear. Typically, we're barrel-chested, covered in hair, and most comfortable in flannel.
Got it. That makes sense.
And that's an otter. They're like bears, but littler.
So some of the terms that you've just heard, like bear, wolf, and dolphin, are oftentimes used in the gay male community within the queer community as a way not of identifying each other, but kind of as like a playful nickname that we put on each other. But in television, it tends to be all these characters think about. It's all about what kind of person am I? What kind of label can I put on myself? And while these characters have used these labels as a key component, people have oftentimes used that in real life. I've often been asked, what kind of animal are you? Are you a bear or a twink? And I've oftentimes just ignored the question because I don't even want to answer it myself. Other people find it funny, and that's really up to them. For everyone, it's very different within the queer community, but it's not a key component in who we are as people. But according to television and writing staff, it's the opposite. Now, these common tropes that are put on TV can have negative effects on viewers. While it is a good way to introduce people to the tip of the iceberg that is the queer community, we almost realize that there is the rest of the iceberg that is still to be discovered. Now, the idea of people being able to empathize and understand certain characters on television can actually be witnessed right here in the parasocial contact hypothesis, which was developed by Dr. Gordon W. Alport and was later analyzed by an MIT comparative studies group. And here I'll just read you this quote. Anxiety and hostility that acts as barriers to intergroup contact could be removed if the majority group experiences intergroup contact vicariously rather than in person. So allow me to break this down. Essentially, anxiety and hostility that act as barriers to intergroup contact. People oftentimes hold hostilities and anxiety towards each other. A great example would be how African American people and white people often have hostilities towards each other due to their difference in skin color. And particularly for the queer community, people have oftentimes relied on outdated stereotypes in order to prejudge us, which is not true. Now, could be removed if the majority group experiences intergroup contact vicariously rather than in person. If people watch TV shows that have proper representation of queer characters, they are better able to understand who we are as people and show the rest of the public that we are not a defined set of characteristics. We are more than what television says we are. And being able to understand and empathize with characters on screen, particularly queer characters, can help reduce stigmatization around the LGBTQ+ community. This is why misrepresentation can have deep consequences. When the queer community, and any minority group for that matter, are misrepresented to a wide range of audience members who can be swayed easily in terms of their beliefs via television, more stereotypes can be created. And this can be harmful as queer people are often denied jobs, harassed, and physically harmed due to our differences from other members of society. Painting a better picture through proper representation in television can help stereotypes and misconceptions fade away over time. But why is this so important? Why is it so important that characters are portrayed in a particular manner, according to what I've just shown you today? Putting the queer community aside, it is critical that representation in media and television that properly shows the stories and struggles of queer characters and minority characters in television, as it provides a foundation for a younger generation. Now, I do have to mention that while I am a member of the queer community, I cannot speak for everyone. I only represent a very, very small aspect of what this entire community represents. I cannot speak on lesbian or transgender male or female issues, as I'm not part of their community. What I can do, however, is shine a spotlight and hope that all of you have seen that representation can have a bigger impact than what we think it is. What I can do right now is just show the importance of all of this. When we see ourselves and other people, we are better able to understand and learn and grow in a world that is increasingly divisive. By seeing people like myself in television and media, I was better able to cope with my differences from the rest of society. And I hope the rest of you will learn more and grow as well with me. Thank you very much.